Good evening, everybody. Hope you all are well. Um, it is good to be on this side of life. I do apologize for the lighting. Um, it's kind of dark in here, so give me just a second. Let me try to fix something really quickly. Let me try to fix that real quick. Bring my other light over. All right, this is a lot better. Thank you for tuning in. This is yours truly, Brian, with Healing in the Vein. If this is your first time joining, thank you. Um, if this is not your first time joining, welcome back. Also, please, if you are on my Facebook page, please look me up and find me on YouTube. Simply because I'm trying to bring everyone there because Facebook is now deleting my videos. So um, I'm having to, I want to keep them and I want to put them in a place where people can view them even afterwards. So I would love for people to find them and continue to contribute. And it's under the same title, Healing in the Vein. And if you would like for me to send you a link, please inbox me. Tonight I have already prayed, so I'm gonna dive right on in. Uh, and tonight is not it's a talk session tonight, right? Because what I wanted to address um, is people putting themselves in compromising positions. So that's why I titled this "Change Positions." And reason being is just over the last few months, I have actually the last few years, I have witnessed people of great status, local people, you know, put themselves into compromising positions because I'm not thinking, because of, this is the way I've always done things. And, and we're getting at that age and time where we can't just do things as we often did them. One, because we don't know the ulterior motives of others. We don't know if someone is planning something, right? Um, the devil will use any type of tactic to trap you. So it's best to cover your bases on all fronts, right? Uh, and this is generally speaking, as someone who works for a major institution, there's even and ironically, I did my uh, updated training. There we go for the year. Um, and for those of you who know like HIPAA laws, there's certain things that you do so that you're not putting yourself in a compromising position. It's to protect the agency or the business ultimately, but it's also there to protect you as a worker. And so, and this goes for anybody, you want to make sure that you protect yourself at all costs. You don't want to give anyone room or chance to where they can lie on you and it appear to be true, right? Now, I'm not saying that people are not going to lie on you. I'm not saying that they're not going to get away with it. What I am saying is that when you put things in place, you now have coverage, you now have proof, you now have, as I like to say, and those of us in my era, you have receipt of what took place, when it took place, and how it took place, who was involved, who was not involved, what's heresy, what's fact, what's fiction. I think, and I'm not getting too political, but I think we kind of saw that on Tuesday night, right? Um, and last night I was watching television and I picked up my phone, scrolling through Instagram, and I realized that, or I saw not realized, but I saw a story and it saddened me. And it was because a young lady had taken her life. Um, it saddened me in two ways, right? The first one was because the young lady had taken her life. And it for me, it wasn't a random young lady. I had actually met this young lady years ago, a few years ago, at a conference. And so I said, wow, like, wow. Because we don't know, and maybe it's just me who thinks like this, but I always think about in movies how um, when people pass each other, and then later on in the movie, it turns out that they're meant to meet, and then they think back, oh, I was there. I did this with that person, or I did that, or I remember passing you. It was that type of memory, right? It was that type of feeling, like, oh wow, like our paths crossed. We had interactions with each other. Very sweet young lady. And then I read the circumstances of why she took her life. And I just got stuck, right? Because, and if you know the story, then you'll see where I'm going with it. If you don't know, just know that the circumstances is unwarranted knowledge for a few people, for several people, for a lot of people. Um, but it's also the position of the other person that was involved as the reason. And so this person was in, or is in a position of power. And, this person utilized their power over her, and it caused some mental issues later on in life, right? And then I thought about, you know, we can't say that the thing was not true because the young lady received mental stress, mental anxiety, things that she had been holding for years. And we can't say that the person in power cannot deny, because the young lady shared text messages and proof, and a few other pictures and things like that. And it got me to thinking about how often people put themselves in compromising positions, and how when they fall because the thing that they are struggling with the most, the internal things that's going on within them, starts to show its head. And because of that, They put themselves in compromising positions. They fall prey to their own demise. And then later on, it catches up with them. Now, for some people, it catches up with them instantly, right? Um, but for those that prey on people, they have this certain way of manipulating and grooming, right? They have this certain way of hiding in the shadows, hiding their dirt in the shadows, but ready to expose other people. And I just find it interesting that people continue to do these things and think that they're going to get away with it. But going back on topic, the compromising positions we have to look at on all costs. So I remember as a child, my mom having a talk with me about, you know, and my grandmother and my grandfather, honestly, about keeping yourself um, in right standing with God, keeping yourself from being able to be talked about in a negative way. My grandmother used to have this saying, and she said, like, your name will go further than you ever will. So you always want to make sure that you have a clean slate. And what that means is that, once you learn a room, once you learn the people that you are around, especially if you're not able to control that type of environment, you lay low, you do what you're supposed to do, and you come home, right? You do what you're supposed to do, but you also cover your tracks. Make sure that you're safe. And to the point where there was at one point I had actually got burned by some people that I was working with at one point in time. And because of that, I learned that I got to have proof when it is one on one with me and someone else. Because I don't want someone to say, oh, well, I never said that. Because then I fall prey to manipulation. Or for some people, gaslighting, right? Because that's how gaslighters operate. They'll say one thing, or they will insinuate something, and then they'll turn around and say, I never said that, or I never asked for that. I never told you to do that. You did that on your own free will. And then you're like, but you planted the seed and watered it. Okay. Right. So you have to be, that's why that scripture was in my head the other day. So that was just a side note. But the scripture even talks about being harmless as a dove, but wise as a serpent, right? Don't execute an evil tactic against someone. In a few videos ago, I talked to you about why, but you can be wise and be a step ahead of the enemy, right? Um, there are projects that I worked on, and if it was just me and one other person, mm-mm. Hey, can you come with me? I gotta go. And I don't want nobody to think that I did this. I don't want, nope. Especially with handling money. Because if something goes wrong with the money, the last person that they're going to look at is you. And then they're going to want to know, well, what happened? What did you do? Things of that nature. And I never wanted anyone to accuse me of stealing money ever. Nope. Um, so what I did was I made sure I had someone with me. There was one I had a job, a management job, and there was cameras everywhere. And I was like, "Hey, I know y'all looking at me. If this piece of money fell on the floor, I was real extra." And I said, "I know that they were looking at the camera like, why is he? picking up the money? Why is he in such a strange way? Why is he doing? Because I want them to see I am not pocketing your money. You will not come for me for that. So it's things like that that you have to be mindful of. And I can only speak from my experiences. So, but you know what you do in your everyday life. You know the things that people are looking at you to and for and from, and you understand the policy, rules, and regulations. And when it comes to your everyday life, your social life, you know, if someone is giving you that, I don't think I can be in the room with you alone vibe, don't. If that person appears to be like trying to scheme, get out of there. I don't care if you just got in, walk right back out. Come up with some kind of plan where you have to walk out, because people, again, we don't know the ulterior motives of others. And just like driving, you don't just get behind the car and just drive for yourself. You have to watch out for the other drivers, because you never know when someone is not paying attention on the road and is swerving over into the lane. You don't know who is falling asleep. So you look out for the cue, the not the clues, but the cues of someone swerving on the line. Like I'm very adamant about, if I see an 18 wheeler or anything swerving just a little bit, I hold back a little bit, because I want to see, is this person trying to get over? Is this person asleep or doing something? Are they going to correct themselves? Because I have seen too many accidents where, or have heard of some where the 18 wheeler has ran a car off the road or slammed into a car and killed the person, the innocent bystander, right? And it's because of whatever was happening with them. The same thing with people that you have in your social circles in your life. We don't know the state of mind that people are in these days. I know we're not supposed to use the C word, but I'm going to say this. There are a lot of people out here that that have undiagnosed mental traumas and mental handicaps. There's a lot of people who are not here. A lot of people say the elevator don't go to the top, or I've even heard, what was it, like the pot wasn't filled, or something like that, something about a pot. So if you know that one, that's what it was. And the thing is, we don't know what's going on in the minds. We don't know how the enemy has tricked these people into thinking things, and trying to maneuver people and get over on people, and like I said earlier, manipulate and gaslight people. We don't know the mindset. We're not in the mindset of others, and I'm not asking you to try to figure it out. But what you do is that you set yourself up for greatness. You never set yourself up for failure. You never set yourself up to be in a compromised position where someone can do something to you, or they accuse you of doing something to them. The world we live in, we would so love to think that it's full of sunshine and beautiful flowers, and it's a snow white world where animals come up to you and just kiss you on the cheek and go about its business, and I can eat from every apple and other fruit trees that there is, and there's nothing wrong. But that is not the reality. And there were some people that will choose to live in that reality. There are some people who choose to live life in their way, because that is how they want things to be. And that's just like, oh well, I just live in my own little world. Well, sometimes you can't live in your own little world too much, where you're too far from reality. You can't do things just because that's the way that you do them. You have to do things based off of societal norms. In some cases, not all, but in some cases, like for example, where I live, I'm constantly seeing people just drive through red lights. They just, oh, well, nobody's coming. Well, I'm just going to drive. What? And at the same time, there are a lot of accidents from people running through red lights and even incidents. There's been two incidents where there have been a hit and run on two gentlemen and both men passed away. And for a while they were looking for, the motorist, right? And so you just can't live by your own terms in every situation. Now, when it comes to just you, hey, by all means. But when it involves other people, no. You have to find that balance. It's the same with relationships, and I'm talking about just generally. When with relationships, you can't do more for one person and they never do anything for you. That's off balance. See, you can't see my scale hands here. So if you're here and this person's here, how is that equal? If one is draining and constantly taking and constantly using, that is not equal. And when people put themselves in that type of position, they often get used and abused. And when I say abused, meaning the resources that they have naturally, like your natural gifts and talents, right? When people want to use you, they will use you, they will use you to the point where they will drain you. And once they drain you and use you up, they will toss you aside and go on to the next best thing. And and then you're left thinking, well, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't this person satisfied? And again, this is generally, I've heard and seen it done in friendships and in dating relationships, even with family members. I have seen it all. And the thing is when you learn a person, know that the tiger is not changing its stripes. Know that the snake is shedding its skin, but it's not shedding its skin to turn over a new leaf. It is shedding its skin so that it can become bigger, right? So please, 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 I implore you to be careful with how you are handling things. Get things in writing. Don't always just take someone's word. Excuse me. Also, look at their actions. Again, don't just take people's words for what they are. Look at their actions. It's like it's what was it? I think it was a body language something. It's like you can find this online. Just I think it's called reverse or adverse body actions or something like this, where someone says, "Oh, did you like the show?" And they're like, "No, yes, I liked the show. I liked it very much." And it's like their mouth is saying yes, but their head is shaking no. It's like, oh, like really? Yeah, like I am so happy for you. I'm just so ecstatic for you that you got this thing, you won those awards and you got that raise. I'm so happy for you. That doesn't give me excitement. That gives me annoyed and jealous, right? And that's what people do in our everyday lives. So that's why they're often say like, don't tell everybody everything. Sometimes you got to keep some stuff for yourself. Everybody out here is not rooting for you. Some people are rooting against you. um I just had so many thoughts to come across my head, so I'm just trying to figure out which one to go with next. But even with that, with people who are against you and for you, and but really are against you, that means that there's something going on with them and not you. Because even in those cases, some people will twist it and say, oh, well, you never thought about me and how I would feel about you making this announcement when you know I just lost my job. Well, you were in two different boats. So if I can't share with you my blessings and encourage you and let you see that as an encouraging way of saying that what happened for me can happen for you, that means that person is not for you. That means that person is in your life but for the wrong reasons. They're more likely connected to you so that they can utilize your resources. Especially if this person lost their job and you're paying for everything. Like, oh, friend, I just came over to see you. I just wanted to spend some time with you. And he said, oh, well, I was about to go eat. Oh, okay, well, go eat. Go, I guess we'll hang out sometime. Oh, you should come with me. Oh, no, no, no. You go on ahead. I don't have any money right now. So, I'll just go home and, do what I do. No, don't worry about it. No, just come on. I got you. I got you. And then let you be in that same situation. Are they doing that for you? Are they taking the time out to encourage you? We have to think about these things because when we put ourselves in compromising positions, again, people will use and abuse you. So I didn't want to be up here too long, but I did felt the need to share these things, especially for those of you that are in leadership, for those of you that will be in leadership, for those of you who are in leadership and doing things that you're not supposed to. Don't find yourself in a compromised position publicly. And I'm saying this because this is a warning for some people. Now, the last time I said this, and this was last October, it's almost October, it's not quite October yet, but last October I said that, and a few things happened. So, this is a warning for some people. If you were doing some things that you're not supposed to, don't find yourself in a compromised position. Consider this your warning now. Because when God starts revealing things and showing things, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. And we don't have to always agree with how certain people handle things, right? I do need to say this. We don't have to agree with how someone handles things and does things all the way, right? But if it's not harmful to anyone, but if it is harmful, let me say it this way: if it is harmful to someone else, if it's harmful to other people, then it will be exposed. Right. If if God feels the need to expose you because it's something that you're doing in your personal life, it's because God is literally trying to save your life. God is literally trying to change your life for the better and make you, or not make you, but get you to walk in the path that He has set forth for you. So I want you to think on these things as you continue your daily life. I really just heard stop being naive. Like that was it. That's not my thought. I literally just heard this. Stop being naive. Really look at situations for what they are. Really listen to what and how people are saying things. Really look at the actions of people because people show you who they are every day. And if you want me to give you a biblical reference, we can go to the beginning of time. The devil literally used a snake to crawl up to Eve to show what type of creature he was. And what do we know about snakes today, figuratively and literally, right? It applies. So thank you for joining in tonight. Like I always say, be blessed. And in you being blessed, also understand that you must not put yourself in a compromised position where you will lose said blessings. You all have a good night, and I will see you next time.